For thousands of years, the water, earth, fire, and air nations lived together in peace because of the Avatar, the only person capable of mastering all four elements. Whenever one Avatar died, their spirit was reborn into a new body, continuing the cycle for generations. The story then shifted to the Fire Nation, where an Earth Kingdom spy was desperately trying to escape after discovering that the Fire Nation was planning an invasion. Before being captured, he managed to hand an important message to his partner and told him to warn the Earth King. The spy was brought before Fire Lord Sozin, who revealed that the rumored attack on the Earth Kingdom was only a distraction. His real target was the air nomads, because the next Avatar had been born among them. Since he didn't know who the Avatar was, he planned to wipe out every air nomad. After revealing his plan, Sozin burned the spy alive. The story then introduced 12-year-old Aang. Although he was the new Avatar, he had no idea yet. He could only airbend, but his skills were already far beyond everyone else's. While flying through the air temple, Aang was called over by monk Gyatso, his closest mentor and friend. When Gyatso asked why he skipped training, Aang admitted he was tired of practicing the same lessons every day. Gyatso reminded him that no matter how talented he was, he still had a lot to learn. He then asked Aang to help prepare for the Great Comet Festival, where air nomads from every temple were gathering. During a meeting, the elders praised Aang for becoming the youngest airbender ever to earn his master tattoos. But with the Fire Nation preparing for war, they decided it was finally time to tell Aang the truth. Later, Gyatso took Aang to the Avatar Shrine and explained the Avatar cycle. He told him that after Avatar Yangchen came Kuruk, then Kyoshi, then Roku, and now that Roku was gone, Aang was the next Avatar. Gyatso gently told Aang the truth. You are the Avatar. The strength of every Avatar before you lives within you. He explained that the Fire Nation wanted to conquer the entire world, and only the Avatar could stop them. To master his destiny, Aang would have to travel to the other nations and learn all four elements. The news terrified Aang. I don't want these powers, he said. I just want to be a normal kid. Gyatso reminded him that becoming the Avatar wasn't a choice. It was his responsibility, but Aang wasn't ready to accept that burden. That night, unable to sleep, Aang sat outside with his flying bison, Appa. He admitted that he didn't want to leave his home or his friends, and he was scared of being alone. Hoping to clear his mind, Aang took Appa for a flight. While they were crossing the ocean, a violent storm appeared. Giant waves knocked them out of the sky, and both of them sank beneath the freezing water. Just before losing consciousness, Aang's Avatar state awakened. A massive sphere of ice formed around him and Appa, preserving them beneath the ocean. 100 years later, the story shifted to the Southern Water Tribe, where a young girl named Katara was practicing waterbending, although she still struggled to control it. She soon joined her brother Sokka, who had become the village's acting leader, while the warriors were away fighting the Fire Nation. The two headed out in a small boat to catch fish for the village. On the way, Sokka warned Katara not to practice waterbending openly. If the Fire Nation discovered there was a waterbender in the village, they'd come after her. As they searched for fish, a powerful wave slammed their boat into a massive glacier. While trying to pull the boat back with her waterbending, Katara accidentally unleashed a huge burst of energy. The glacier exploded. A glowing sphere of ice cracked open, and a 12-year-old boy stepped out. It was Aang. Far away, Prince Zuko saw the giant beam of light from his ship. He had spent the last 3 years searching for the Avatar, believing it was the only way to regain his honor and return home. The moment he saw the light, he knew exactly where to go. Meanwhile, Katara and Sokka brought the unconscious Aang back to their village. When he finally woke up, he looked around in confusion, wondering where he was. Then he remembered Appa and immediately rushed outside, calling for his flying bison. As Aang leaped effortlessly into the air, using airbending, everyone in the village froze in shock because air nomads had disappeared 100 years ago. Aang used the whistle hanging from his necklace, and moments later, Appa came flying straight to him. After calming down, Aang told everyone how he and Appa had been trapped in a terrible storm. When he mentioned the Great Comet Festival, Gran quietly revealed the truth. The last Great Comet Festival happened 100 years ago. She explained that while Aang had been frozen inside the iceberg, the Fire Nation had started a war that changed the world forever. The Avatar was needed more than ever, but he never came. The news shattered Aang. He realized everyone he had ever known had been gone for 100 years. Katara then shared her own story. She told Aang how the Fire Nation attacked her village, killed her mother, and forced her father to leave 3 years earlier to fight in the war, leaving Sokka in charge. We aren't born ready for responsibility. Sometimes we have to grow into it. She also explained that the Fire Nation now controlled much of the world, while only the Earth Kingdom and the Northern Water Tribe were still resisting. Meanwhile, Prince Zuko continued training with his firebending. His uncle, Iroh, praised his skills, but reminded him that his father had probably given up hope of ever finding the Avatar. Zuko refused to believe that. Later, Katara showed Aang an abandoned ship where she practiced waterbending. She admitted she was the last waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe because the Fire Nation had wiped out all the others. Aang encouraged her to feel the energy around her instead of forcing the water to move. Following his advice, Katara successfully controlled the water for the first time. At that moment, Zuko's warship appeared near the village. The villagers quickly prepared to defend themselves. Gran then revealed Aang's true identity to everyone. He isn't just the last airbender, he's the Avatar. Instead of celebrating, Sokka became angry. He blamed Aang for disappearing when the world needed him most. Outside the village, Zuko made his demand. "We're not here to fight. Hand over the boy who doesn't belong here, or we'll burn this village to the ground." At first, Sokka considered giving Aang up, but Katara stopped him. "If we lose the Avatar, we lose our last hope." Realizing she was right, Sokka refused to surrender him. He challenged Zuko to a fight, but Zuko easily defeated him. Just as Zuko was about to finish Sokka off, Aang stepped in and surrendered himself to save the village. Once the Fire Nation ship sailed away, Sokka handed leadership of the village to someone else. He and Katara then set out together to rescue Aang. Aboard the ship, Aang was locked inside a prison cell, where Uncle Iroh came to speak with him. Aang asked why the Fire Nation had started the war. Iroh replied that many people in the Fire Nation believed fire was the strongest element, and that the world could only know peace under Fire Nation rule. Aang quietly answered, "Peace can't be built by hurting innocent people." Iroh nodded, "You're right, but at this point, it doesn't matter how the war began. What matters now is that once the Fire Nation captures the Avatar, they believe the war will finally be over." As Uncle Iroh walked away, Aang secretly used his airbending to pull the prison key from a guard's belt. He unlocked his cell and quietly escaped, but accidentally wandered into Zuko's room. There, he found a journal filled with information about the previous avatars. Aang took the book, recovered his staff, and slipped away unnoticed. Just as he was about to escape, Zuko spotted him and launched a blast of fire. Aang was knocked out of the sky, but before he hit the ground, Sokka and Katara arrived on Appa and pulled him to safety. When Zuko attacked again, Katara instinctively blocked the fire with her waterbending. Even Sokka was shocked, because he'd never seen her control water like that before. The three escaped, but Katara knew they couldn't return to her village anymore. As long as Aang was with them, the Fire Nation would keep coming. Aang then took them to the Southern Air Temple, but instead of finding his home, he found only ruins. Inside the temple, he discovered Monk Gyatso's skeleton. The heartbreaking sight pushed Aang into the Avatar state. His eyes and tattoos glowed, powerful winds tore through the temple, and the entire mountain began shaking. Sokka and Katara were thrown through the air, barely managing to survive. Then Aang remembered Gyatso's teachings, regained control, and collapsed into Katara's arms, overwhelmed with grief. Later, after calming down, Aang finally accepted his destiny. "I'm the Avatar. If I'm going to save the world, I have to finish my training and master all 4 elements." Meanwhile, Zuko searched his ship for the missing journal. Furious, he blamed himself for letting Aang escape. Iroh reminded him that books didn't find the Avatar. He did, and assured him they would catch Aang again. Studying the journal, Aang learned that Avatar Kyoshi had mastered her powers at an incredible level. Believing her temple might help him control the Avatar state, he decided their next destination would be Kyoshi Island. Sokka wanted to return home, but Katara chose to stay with Aang. "If the world falls, saving our village won't matter." With that, Sokka agreed to join them. Before leaving, Gran secretly left Katara an ancient water-bending scroll containing the basics of her tribe's bending techniques. It was a gift that every southern waterbender was meant to receive. After giving Gyatso a proper burial, Aang, Katara, Sokka, Appa, and a curious flying lemur they named Momo set off for Kyoshi Island. At the same time, Zuko and Iroh arrived at a Fire Nation outpost, hoping to gather new information about the Avatar without revealing that they had already found him. Meanwhile, Aang and his friends reached Kyoshi Island, where the Kyoshi warriors immediately captured them. They refused to believe Aang was the Avatar, until the statue of Avatar Kyoshi suddenly glowed, surrounding Aang with light. Only then did the warriors realize the truth and escorted the group to their leader, Yukari. Yukari welcomed Aang, but made one thing clear. Since the war began, Kyoshi Island has been closed to outsiders. No one is allowed to stay here. Aang respectfully replied, "We're not here to cause trouble. I only came to learn about Avatar Kyoshi. I know I don't fully understand everything your people have been through, but if you help me, maybe I can help bring peace back to the world." Suki, Yukari's daughter and the leader of the Kyoshi warriors, stepped in. If he's really the Avatar, the least we can do is give him a chance. After a moment of thought, Yukari allowed the group to stay for 48 hours. As Suki showed them around the island, Sokka proudly mentioned that he was the leader of his own village too. Suki smiled and replied, "We're not the same. Avatar Kyoshi created the Kyoshi warriors to protect this island, and I've been trusted with that responsibility." Sokka had no comeback, while Aang and Katara couldn't help laughing at his embarrassed expression. Meanwhile, Zuko and Uncle Iroh visited Commander Zhao, pretending they needed sea charts to hunt giant sea creatures. Zhao immediately became suspicious and asked them to stay until the next day. Back on Kyoshi Island, Katara practiced her waterbending. She invited Aang to train with her, but he tried to avoid it. Katara stopped him. "You can run from practice, but you can't run from your responsibility." Aang looked discouraged, so Katara splashed water at him. Before long, the two were laughing and playing like normal kids. Despite being the Avatar, Aang was still only 12 years old. As Aang spent time with the children on the island, everyone quickly grew fond of him. Even Suki smiled as she watched. She told her mother, "Closing ourselves off from the world also took away our happiness." But Yukari wasn't convinced. "The Fire Nation is hunting the Avatar. If he stays here, they'll come for us too." At the same time, Commander Zhao learned from members of Zuko's crew that the Avatar had finally been found. When scouts reported seeing a flying sky bison near Kyoshi Island, Zhao realized exactly where Aang was. Elsewhere, Sokka tried showing Suki his fighting skills, only to discover she was far more experienced. She defeated him with ease, leaving Sokka completely embarrassed. Later, Aang and Katara searched Avatar Kyoshi's temple for answers, but the ancient books revealed very little. Aang finally admitted his biggest fear: "I've never liked hurting people. Everyone thought I was lucky because I didn't have to train like the others, but I did. Not to become stronger, to learn how to control my power. Sometimes I almost hurt the people around me, and I know they're afraid of what I could become." Katara encouraged him, "If you don't try, it'll only get harder." Then she found an old text, explaining that every avatar carries the spirits of their past lives. She smiled at Aang. "Maybe the answers you're looking for have been with you all along. You just have to learn how to reach them." Suki was training the Kyoshi warriors when she noticed Sokka secretly watching from a distance, trying to copy their moves. After the session ended, she called him over. She could tell he genuinely wanted to learn, so she decided to train him herself. Sokka picked things up surprisingly fast, and as they spent more time together, the two grew much closer. Before long, it was clear that Suki had fallen for him. Meanwhile, Aang meditated inside Kyoshi Temple, hoping to speak with Avatar Kyoshi. This time, it worked. Kyoshi appeared before him and said, "You've taken far too long to find me." Aang admitted, "I didn't know how." Kyoshi replied, "There's still so much you don't know." Before she could continue, the temple bells suddenly rang. Commander Zhao's fleet had arrived at Kyoshi Island. At the same time, Zuko learned that Zhao was after the Avatar and immediately sailed toward the island as well. The alarm spread across the village. Everyone prepared for battle. Katara saw Zuko heading straight for the temple. Knowing Aang was still deep in meditation, she stepped in alone to stop him. Elsewhere, Zhao demanded permission to search the village, but Yukari refused. When Zhao ignored her, the Kyoshi warriors charged into battle. Sokka fought alongside Suki as the island erupted into chaos. Inside the spirit world, Aang asked Kyoshi, "What if being the Avatar only hurts more people?" Kyoshi answered firmly, "You've already hurt countless people by running from your responsibility. If you keep running, there may not be any benders left to save." She showed Aang a terrifying vision of the future: destroyed villages, burning temples, and innocent people dying. The Avatar is a protector. Sometimes protecting the world means making impossible choices. Aang looked down. "What if I make everything worse?" The moment you accepted being the Avatar, the world changed. But if you refuse your destiny, you won't even be able to save this island. You wanted to know what the Avatar is truly capable of. Her spirit merged with Aang's body. Outside, Zuko easily overpowered Katara and was about to strike the final blow. Suddenly, Avatar Kyoshi appeared. One effortless attack sent Zuko flying unconscious. Kyoshi then entered the village, driving Zhao's entire army into retreat. Terrified, Zhao ordered his soldiers to fall back and flee. As Kyoshi's spirit left, Aang returned to normal. Feeling guilty, Aang apologized to everyone. "This happened because of me." Suki shook her head. "You need to leave before they come back." But Yukari smiled. "There's nothing here that can't be rebuilt. You didn't bring us fear, you brought back our hope." She bowed respectfully to Aang, and the entire village followed her example. Humbled, Aang bowed back. Before leaving, Sokka and Suki shared a quiet goodbye. "I wish we had more time." "So do I," Suki whispered. She kissed him goodbye and gave him her war fan as a keepsake. Soon after, Aang, Katara, and Sokka took off on Appa once again. As they flew north, Katara asked, "What did Avatar Kyoshi tell you?" Aang answered, "I can only speak to the past avatars in their sacred temples, but she also warned me that something terrible is about to happen at the Northern Water Tribe, and only I can stop it." Without wasting another moment, the three friends set their course for the north, knowing an even greater battle was waiting for them. Katara smiled and said, "The Northern Water Tribe has the greatest waterbending masters in the world. They'll be able to teach both of us." Sokka looked at Aang and said, "Don't worry, whatever happens, we're with you." Meanwhile, back aboard Zuko's ship, Commander Zhao pretended he had only gone to Kyoshi Island because he had heard about an accident. "I had no idea the Avatar would be there," he lied. He apologized and acted as if he was leaving. But before he did, Zuko warned him, "Don't tell anyone about the Avatar." Thinking quickly, Zhao replied, "Then why don't we work together to capture him?" Zuko was about to refuse, but Uncle Iroh immediately saw through Zhao's scheme. He calmly told Zhao that if they were going to work together, he would have to remain loyal. But Zhao had no intention of sharing the glory. He wanted to capture the Avatar himself, knowing Fire Lord Ozai would reward him with power and honor. As soon as he left, Zhao secretly sent a message to Fire Lord Ozai, revealing that the Avatar had finally returned. And with the Fire Lord now aware of Aang's existence, an even greater threat had begun. Every legend begins with one brave choice. If this story inspired you, pass it on to someone you care about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next movie recap.